Good, yeah. Yeah. Is that today?
Yeah, it's running around to do water engineers off.
Okay,
Two birds, one stone
So-
type of deal.
absolutely. Those trips count.
And with the weather that's good, I doesn't frighten me like it well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 50-degree weather in November and driving I-80 without wind, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It was close to that grass fire going outside of Laramie
Oh, I didn't hear about the grass fire.
Monday. That was kind of spooky. It was right there north of Love's. Burned up quite a bit right there and had the interstate closed. I think Mike and Julianne made it through just in time.
Well, we need at least one more for a quorum, so. We got Scott, we got Jackie, and we got Jack so far. Morning, John.
There we go. Now we're good. Good morning, Jack.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know. There's Trent. Morning, Trent.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Great. It's good
Yes.
seeing you.
Good to see you.
I like your picture behind you, your background.
Thank you.
Pretty cool.
All right, good morning. Can you guys hear me out there? This is Travis.
Yes, we can hear you, Travis.
All right, my microphone was wanting to act up here a moment ago. Thank you.
It's trouble when you let an engineer do something, you know, it's dangerous. Okay, we have enough for a quorum, but we got several that aren't there. Tom's not there. Bruce isn't here.
I am here.
Oh, Tom, okay. I didn't see your name, bud. Sorry. There you are. So we're just short. Bruce. Jackie, we're taking them. Maybe I got Dave, Travis, Andy, Randy. Sean. There's Jackie, okay. Well, it's about almost 5 after, so I think we'll go ahead and start. First item we need to do is roll call. Shelley, if you would.
Commissioner Coughlin,
Present?
Commissioner Behrens,
Present.
Commissioner Cashel-Hopper is absent and excused. Commissioner Thayer,
Here.
Commissioner Thorne, Commissioner Van Mark,
Here.
Frank Carroll for Superintendent Dagenfelder,
Here.
Who's just doing it?
Commissioner Thorne, just a second, we're gonna call on him in just a second. Make sure his microphone's working. Bruce Thorne, Commissioner Thorne,
Yes.
there he is. Chairman Tartar.
Present.
All right, we have a quorum, sir.
Okay. I think we've had roll call. Why don't we go around and introduce the staff that's in attendance today, if you would, at the table there.
Shelley Carlson, School Facilities Division Administrator.
John Rexis, Construction Management Supervisor.
Travis Hoff, Public Information Officer.
Shelley Lovato, I'm in two roles, so I don't know what to say. I'm the executive assistant at the moment for the commission and the director, also and project specialist on the CM side.
Del McComey, Director for the State Construction Department.
Laura Anderson, Finance and Operations Administrator for State Construction.
You know, Laura, if you'd move the next chair up towards Dell, we could see you better.
Yeah, but that's why I picked this chair, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's the reason I made my comments.
Hey, I'll slide a little bit.
Thank you very much. If any public wants to let us know who they are, this would be a good time to let us know. See none, we'll go to the chairman remarks. I welcome everybody today. This will be probably a fairly short meeting. A lot of good information in it though. Shelley, everybody probably knows, but is going to take another position in the department, and we'll certainly miss her. She's very efficient, she's helpful, and she's kind to the elderly. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Shelley. You really are a delight. So
I'll be with you until the position's filled, and then probably their first meeting, I will join that person and training them on how to be kind and professional and all that stuff.
but we've all appreciated everything you've done for us, and thank you very, very much. So, director remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have quite a few different topics I want to try and cover today. First off, met with the Wyoming Contractors Coalition, their new executive director yesterday morning, and had a pretty interesting conversation with her. The Wyoming Contractors Coalition, if you're not familiar with them, they do have some members that are large building contractors that we use for constructing schools and state buildings around the state. But they're also primarily, their makeup is the, say the HVAC, the electrical folks, the plumbing groups, things like that. So a lot of your trades programs, and they do an awful lot, you know, they do a lot of the sub work for the larger general contractors around the state. And so they've got an initiative going. I plan to attend their meeting Monday morning out at LCCC, but it's called Next Gen Sector Partnership. And Next Gen, what they're trying to do is how do we get improve Wyoming's workforce, particularly in the trades area, for those that I just mentioned, welding, all those kind of things that are utilized to build our buildings here in the state of Wyoming. There's a growing concern on the amount of, on our workforce here in Wyoming, in the trade sector, just like there is across the country. But particularly, I think some of the impacts that are happening with some of the large data centers coming in, those sort of things, draining or drawing away work within the workforce here, particularly in Laramie County. They were sharing some of the information. For example, some of the electrical companies here, had, a couple dozen, 3 dozen employees, and they're down to 7 because they're all been hired away to work on these data centers and that sort of thing. And so, we do have a lot of capital construction going on in the Cheyenne area with the missile base. They've got 4 or 5 big buildings out there with the, again, the data centers and that kind of stuff that are coming in. So the reason I bring it up is again, they're trying to build that workforce. And I think that positions us well here in the state, in the fact that I talked to them a little bit about the strategic plan again and kind of where we're headed, and that will try and build more of a stable funding source for projects in the future that would help then stabilize the workforce and that kind of stuff. We've visited with the commission, and we've already, for example, at Rock Springs and Campbell County, we're allowing additional square footage for their CTE programs. And we plan to move forward when we're doing the adequacy standards and again, address that issue on that space. And so I think the partnership that we and the commission can bring, working with the school districts and the college on the other hat that I wear here with the state construction department on the state side, the community college side, the CM division, I think it'll be an interesting conversation on workforce development across the state. So they're kicking off this big initiative. It'll be they'll be doing a lot of things around the state of Wyoming, but it's really focused on how do we build that next workforce for the building trades across Wyoming. And again, we've got 2 large, actually probably 3 or 4 big projects coming up here in the near future with the remodel and the work going on with McCormick Junior High, our 2 big elementaries that we have on the drawing board right now, potentially Hobbs. The East, we're going into the design phase. We get the funding for East. And so, the impact, I think, on the trades and the building, particularly here in the Cheyenne area, could pose some issues for the department and funding and what the outcome looks like when industry is competing for those limited resources that we have. So we'll stay on top of that. And we'll probably try and brief the commission in the future as to how that kind of program's progressing and what that looks like. If there's not any questions on that, Mr. Chairman, I'll move on to my next topic.
No, I think, the community college could be a key player in that. If they hook up with us and, with the school districts, because, I've always felt that everybody's not going to be a doctor and need a 4-year degree out of college. And I think we're finally starting to recognize that, and those jobs pay good. And I know Sheridan College just bought their board, foundation board just bought some land across from our high school. And I think they plan on trying to build a facility where they can enroll the high school kids in CTE programs. So I think the community colleges could really be a key player in the training. Anyway, I'll shut up. So.
Well, most of, when we're visiting with a lot, particularly in our more industrial areas of the state, Rock Springs, Campbell, they indicate to us they actually have a pretty long waiting list for students to get into those programs.
Yeah.
The CTE. So again, I think when we start addressing the adequacy standards, looking at that, that's certainly something we need to keep an eye on and probably even visited with WDE a little more on what that looks like. from a student population and trends in that area too, because I think it's going to be something that's going to evolve over the next 4 or 5 years in Wyoming with the programs that they're trying to get started up in the industry side to support those CTE programs. So again, I'll keep the commission kind of apprised as to how that's moving forward. It is legislative season. We got notified about a week, 10 days ago that they'll start sending out fiscal notes. Got an email yesterday, said, okay, the fiscal note season started. And shortly after that, we got 2 fiscal notes for bills already. So it has started. And again, we'll try and keep the commission apprised, even though we may or may not have, formal commission meetings. I think our next one's scheduled for February, but as we progress through the legislative season, we'll try and keep everybody up to speed as to what's going on and how the bills are proceeding through the legislature. And then in regard to that, so we meet with Joint Appropriations Committee meeting. I think they have it scheduled on the 5th of December for 5 hours on the construction management side of the House. And then on the 11th, we meet with them for the 027 budget, which is our operating budget. So paying for salaries, papers, pens, pencils, and then also the school facilities budget. So we'll be presenting that. Typically on that presentation, that will be the budget bill that at the last meeting that the committee worked, and the chairman generally attends that for the select committee. And of course, the vice chair is on joint appropriations, Representative Angelo. So they'll be there and probably weigh in on that bill. LSO generally will present that, but kind of varies from year to year. There's been years where they kind of ran that whole show between LSO and the chairmans, and then there's been years that they just said, well, Dale, you're familiar with the bill, so why don't you present the bill? So I don't really know how it's going to go till we get there exactly, but again, if anybody wanted to sit in and watch that, because they do Zoom those meetings, that starts at 2 o'clock. They got a schedule from 2 to 5 on the 11th. They also those are pretty flexible meetings, so we could end up being earlier. If they say they finish up on the 5th with CM, they might even start asking us some about the budget then. I don't know. But that's what they have on the schedule right now is the construction management on the 5th, and then the school facilities budget on the 11th. So again, that's at 2 o'clock, so from 2 to 5, where we testify before JAC.
Could you send us out a schedule on that, and then maybe just give us an update of the day when it's happening?
We can
Just so we
certainly
don't.
do that. What I'll do is
I'd really appreciate it if you would.
Yeah, we'll just forward you the JAC schedule for December, and it'll show all the agencies through there, and then we'll note or highlight on there when the department's meeting with JAC. Again, that's I think the morning of the 5th. It starts I think at 11 for CM, and then it runs the rest of the afternoon till they adjourn, I believe. And then again, the commission's budget will be going on the 11th. So, but we'll send that
Maybe
out.
give us a hint on how to get on and where to get on.
Yeah. Okay.
Senior citizens struggle with that.
We're expecting to hear the governor's budget next week. I think that's his date to get that out on the street. So again, you might be watching for that, Mr. Chairman. I know when we met with him, he was very supportive of the commission's budget proposals. But again, he's trying to weigh that against the overall budget for the state. So I don't really know at this point in time where that's going to stand in comparison to the select committee. But historically, they try to match those up fairly closely. So again, I think that is, I don't expect any big surprises with the governor's budget versus how that select committee bill rolled out. But again, he'll be releasing his budget next week, so you can kind of be watching for that. I think when that comes out, Mr. Chairman, we can probably also give that to the commission. We can send that out with a link, so you'll be able to look at his budget. So, and then it's going to ramp up pretty quickly, I think, for bills coming through. My understanding is that there's an awful lot of bills filed right now already. This is the budget season session, or the short session. So the legislature will start in February, but I'm hearing there's already hundreds of bills that their LSO is working on. So they've kind of forewarned that they're going to have a pretty quick turnaround on a lot of these bills when we start putting out our fiscal impacts on those and returning those back in. So any questions from the commission on kind of the legislative forefront that we're headed into? So. Okay. Next, I did want to talk a little bit about Shelley. So, and thank her for all of her years of service on the commission. And so I deliberately kind of postponed trying to hire her replacement. I'll probably get to that in about a year or so. And that way she can kind of stay on board and help out with that. So. But when we start that hiring process, we'll kind of let you know kind of what's going on there, and hopefully do an introduction for the new person, the new Shelley, whoever that turns out to be. And as Shelley mentioned, she'll be working with the replacement, whoever that is, to kind of get them up to speed and try and fill a pretty big pair of shoes. That I think you're all familiar with. So.
Yeah, she has little feet, but she's got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, she's stomped on my foot a time or two, Mr. Chairman. Also, one of these seniors that keep me in line. So again, appreciate all of her work over the years. So she's not retired, so we don't have to give her a going away party. But anyway,
Not yet.
Yeah. So. Mr. Chairman, I mentioned earlier that in February is our next scheduled meeting for the commission to kind of give you a briefing on when the, how things are kind of going in the legislature and kind of what we're expecting with bills and all of that. But I would expect, Mr. Chairman, we're going to probably have a couple of other short Zoom type of meetings, virtual meetings to act on some Mercer projects. We're working on a number of those. I think we got some of them that we're fairly close to finaling out. I think about 4 of them here in the near future, if everything goes right with those. And then again, we have an emergency project that we're working on some contract language with for Weston 7 for their elevator. It's a major maintenance project that they're trying to do, and the elevator company doesn't really like the contract. And since the elevator companies are a little bit of the only show in town, we're having some pushback. So our attorneys have been visiting with their attorneys, with the school district attorneys, and we're trying to get that language worked out so we can move those repairs forward for that elevator at Weston 7. And so that might be something that would also require a quick meeting from the commission to adopt a non-commission contract, not one of our standards that we have. So again, we'll let you folks know as quickly as we can to try and move that project forward also. Any questions so far, Mr. Chairman?
I have none.
Okay. And then finally, I just want to really thank all of the commissioners for this past year, your support in all of the meetings we had, attending those select committee meetings. We've had a number of Mercer studies that you have acted on to move projects forward. And it's just great to really have a good team and the support for the department. It makes I truly believe it makes a difference when you all show up. So at the last meeting, there in person, Mr. Chairman, you were there. Commissioner Van Mark was there, and of course Mr. Scott was there, shows up, and that makes a difference, I think, to that committee of the legislators that you are involved in what's going on. And I've worked directly, kind of in a similar role to where I'm at now with commissions since the year 2000. A little more indirect, starting back in the early 90s, but directly attending commission meetings on a monthly basis since 2000, except for my little couple of year hiatus there. But we really have a good, strong commission, and I just really want to thank all of you for the stuff that you do. So,
Well, I think the select committee, since you've been there, is pretty supportive of the direction everybody we're going and that, and supportive of you and John and the whole Shelby and the whole bunch. And because they asked good questions, but they took almost everything you wanted and said yes to it. So I think that's a feather in your cap. You all your people.
yeah, we've got a good team here. They work hard, and
Yeah.
very proud of the work that they
Good
do.
group.
And, yep.
Shelby does a fantastic job, and John and Laura, the whole bunch, Shelley. I can't say enough good about what you do for us. So, all of you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and again,
And
that's
Travis.
Mark's, and so I sure appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and visit this morning. So,
Anything else?
that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the next item we'll go to is approval of the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions? Any additions? Any deletions? Any deletions? Since you already vote, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
If there are any opposed, same sign. So moved. Next item, update on select committee meeting, Director McComey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I may have Shelby weigh in on this. At least she could kind of augment my discussion. But the last meeting of the select committee before the legislative session started was the meeting that, again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, where we attended, and things, from my perspective, went very well. That was the first legislative meeting that I can recall where they're working a bill, particularly a very complex, large bill, whether when I was at Transportation Department or here at school facilities, where almost every item got a unanimous vote. And actually during that discussion, everything did get a unanimous vote per item. They did at the last meeting remove that 600,000 out of the unanticipated for the 10 million for safety and security, but that was done at the last meeting. They voted on it, and I guess they got a unanimous vote also, even though it was removing what the commission had asked for. But everything within the bill got a unanimous vote, which is a little bit unusual. Again, I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen unanimous votes from the committee on the bill at the end, but not while they're working the bill and going through the individual items. And so I think that puts us in a good place moving into the legislative session, because I think it shows that support from all of the members of the committee for the bill itself. And hopefully that will show up when we present the bill to the Joint Appropriations Committee. And so, again, within the legislative session, when they start working the bill, I'm not sure how that's going to end up when they do the bill. Typically, well, it's varied somewhat from year to year. They can either use the bill and the bill will be standalone. Sometimes it'll end up with the bill going into the budget side. And so you just really don't know. And I don't know where JC will find out, I guess, on the 5th, what their thoughts are on that, where they may end up putting that. But nonetheless, when the governor's budget will have hopefully the similar recommendation to what the commission asked for. And that is another thing in the budget bill that he moves forward. So it'll kind of show up in a couple of places, and I'm not exactly sure how it will align through the joint appropriations process when it ends up. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. I talked a little bit earlier about the presentation on how that occurs. Shelby, certainly John will be there with myself to answer any questions that the Appropriations Committee may have. Typically, we have some school district representatives there also to speak to the bill. So any support from that end, is always helpful for the committee. And so we'll just kind of see how that moves forward. I guess I'm pleased on the overall action that the committee took. One of the things that came out of there that I think is going to be some work for the commission, for yourselves, coming forward, if the bill moves forward, is the safety and security. The way that's put into that bill is from kind of a grant aspect. And so the districts will be applying for a grant. We don't know exactly what that process is going to look like. We're going to have to get that set up before the funding of that starts, next year. But then have the districts roll forward and look at how that, grant through a grant application and then oversight for the commission. Hopefully it won't be too onerous, but we'll just have to kind of work and see how that's going to happen. So I think as we move forward after that February meeting and we try to set up a process, we'll be working with commission to do that, have that in place, and maybe even have some of the grants kind of moving forward, because we'll know by the middle of March whether or not that got funded, and we can kind of be trying to anticipate, get some of that done and ready to go when that funding's available July 1st of the year. So we don't have to wait for all that to work through. But again, that's going to be a process. Conversations amongst ourselves. We're probably going to ask for some help from the districts on, how to prioritize or what's a priority based on the response that we got from the districts too. What should that look like? Maybe recommendations on prioritizing those requests as they come in. The funding is somewhat limited. We did testify at the last meeting that I think in regard to bollards and security vestibules, what we would do is take part of that 10 million and apply that towards design of those, so that in the next budget cycle, we can come and ask for the construction money for that, those bollards and vestibules. And that'll be a pretty big ask, I think, based on kind of rough numbers that we ran. We don't know what that's going to look like through that design, but just anticipating based on history of what that costs, that's going to be a pretty big dollar ask, I think, to move forward with all those vestibules and bollards. But again, those are future discussions. Could be starting as early as maybe February when we have our first meeting, official meeting with the commission. So again, I just want to thank support from the commissioners that came to the meeting. Again, I certainly appreciate that. Literally, you kind of sit back behind us, but you got our back. So I appreciate that. Anything from the commissioners that attended or listened in on that? Your thoughts on that?
Okay, next item is the information item A, tab A in your book. It's the ACTI project update with John Rexus.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
It's kind of a two-part informational item here. I've got a summary of all our ongoing capital projects on the first page. And then my team kind of developed a standard template informational sheet for each one of these projects. And we're going to keep that in the database and keep it updated for each one of these projects, as well as new projects as they come online for future updates to the commission. I would ask, what's your pleasure as I go through these project updates? Would you like me to pause between each project for questions, or would you prefer to have me run through the whole thing and then open up for questions?
Why don't you just do them individually and then just because I don't think there'll be too many questions, because you did a nice job, and then go to the next one.
Sounds good, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible in the interest of everybody's time. I'm going to start out with the Albany County School District 1 projects. They've got two, which is really kind of the same project, but we break it apart to track our demolition costs separately. So with that being said, we are currently working on adding air conditioning cooling coils to the rooftop units on the new Slade ES. Early on, those estimates were anticipated to be in the low $1 to $1.2 million range. So I'm pleased to announce that we were able to find the preferred solution actually at a reduced cost, and they're currently doing that work with a contract of $750,000. So
Wow.
they just got started on that project, but we're anticipating that it'll be completed by the end of January 2026, and that project's moving forward. In addition to that, we are currently underway with abatement on the old Slade ES, and the demolition of that building will follow shortly behind that. Estimated completion of that abatement is scheduled for February of 2026. Moving on to Campbell County School District 1, we've got really three big projects to talk about there. All of them are two-part projects in that they have construction and demolition. In every instance, we're going to retain the existing building until the new building is complete. So we're not quite ready to start any of the demos on that, but we do have it broken out and budgeted as a separate project. I'm going to start with the very first one that you're all familiar with, which is the new Little Powder K8, located north of Gillette. Van Ewing is the contractor of award on that. And my understanding is that school is very near completion. They're anticipating to move the kids in over winter break. So starting with the spring semester or session of 2026, those kids will be in the new school. I know that the district is already working on logistics with the general contractor in regards to the demolition of the old building, so that as soon as they vacate that building, they can hit the ground running to get that project completed as well, which is scheduled, I think, to be done by midsummer of 2026. Moving on to the transportation building. We've got a 35% design document submittal from Plan One Architects, who are the architects of record on this project. It's substantially higher than the budget allows. We're currently working through some of the requirements and some of the design guidelines with the district in order to figure out what the appropriate scope is, what the appropriate cost of that scope would be, and what our funding options are available to us to try to bring this all together. But we're really not in a position at this point to bring anything to the commission. But I assume once we work through all of that, we probably will be coming back to at the very least give you an update and information on where we landed with that project. Again, the demolition of the existing transportation building will occur once the new building is occupied and complete. Moving on to Campbell County High School, we just recently went through a 10% schematic design review. It appears the project's in budget and on schedule, and we've given them a notice to proceed to 35%. And with that, again, we've got the demolition of the old school that's going to take place once that's completed. I would like to point out that this is going to be a phased project, and that they're doing an early package for their stadium and parking and some of their bus work in order to accommodate that the sports activities since the new school's footprint is going to be over the top of the existing sports field. Moving on to Fremont 25, I'm happy to announce that we've already done the warranty walkthrough on the Riverton High School auditorium. It's kind of a two-part substantial completion. The building's done and they're using it, and everything worked out great with that. But there is some site work that remains to be completed this upcoming spring. So once that's completely done, we'll be making the reversions and pulling back any leftover money for that project. We've got two elementary schools here in Laramie County School District 1, being the new 5-6 elementary school. The lead consultant on that project is FDL out of Sheridan. They have submitted their 10% schematic design that's gone through the VE process. They do have some budgetary issues, but they've got a plan in place to work through those. They're just finalizing that plan to submit to us so that we can officially give them the notice to proceed to 35% move forward. That particular school does not have a demo tied to it, but the second one here does, which is the new Art Elementary replacement. Stasis Design out of Cheyenne is the architect of record, and they are well into 35% design. It says in here that we have a value engineering at 35% scheduled for November 18th, and just yesterday that got pushed by about 3 days. We had some schedule conflicts with the VE consultant, but I anticipate that that one will go well, just based on some of the early looks that I've had at the budget and the design documents. And we are currently awaiting funds for the demolition of that one. So I don't have that project listed in here yet, but those are funds that we asked be made available early in March on governor's signature, because there is a little bit of overlap on the new school with the existing footprint as well. So that's not an occupied school. They're currently at Eastridge. So the students have been moved, but we would like to get that school demoed as soon as possible to accommodate the new construction on that site. Moving on to Teton County School District number 1. Orman Builders is well underway with the construction of their new transportation facility. And that project's anticipated to be completed in the fall of 2026. Shortly thereafter, they'll begin demolition on the existing transportation facility. And finally, we have Washington County School District number 2 up in Tinsley. The school has been done. The students have been in it. The demolition is now complete, and they're working on some of the site work. The remainder of the site work will probably be done when weather conditions are amenable next spring, and then we'll close that project down. So with that being said, Mr. Chairman, I'll open up for any questions the commission may have.
Any questions of John? Any questions of John? Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is item B, Mercer update, Administrator Carlson. Hey, nice job, John, incidentally.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Just to give you an update on where we are with the most cost-effective remedy studies and what we see coming, I will highlight those that I think will come before the commission in the next few months anyway. We'll just give you an overall view. If it's highlighted in kind of that orange color, that means it's a completed Mercer. We have actually completed 10 Mercers for 15 different buildings. If they're still shown in white, that means they're still ongoing. So I'll just walk through those that are white on your spreadsheet there and just give you an update on those. Albany 1, Central Kitchen, very active work on this one right now. We are down to looking at about potential of 3 other sites and looking at either, additions or building new or remaining on the existing site. So I anticipate that I'll have a report on that by the end of the year, a draft report. Carbon One, again, we're very actively working on that one. We have expanded that to take a look at not only what we need to do to address the condition at the K1 school, but the potential of bringing the K1 and that 2-5 elementary school together. And so we're in the process of reviewing that. We'll be scheduling a meeting with the district here fairly quick to talk about what that option looks like and how we want to move forward. I anticipate I'll have a draft report by the end of the year on Carbon One as well. Moving down to Conestoga Elementary School, that consultant is MGT. We actually had an internal working meeting with them yesterday, reviewed that draft, discussed some of the options there, and so MGT will go back to work on that, makes a few minor adjustments, and we will be sending that one to the district here as soon as we get that back. I would guess in that Thanksgiving timeframe or right afterwards. And I anticipate that one probably not by the end of the year, but maybe will be before the commission in December, January. I think you should see that one come before you. Sheridan 2, the early building. This one is pending, not active work on this one at the current time. That one is with MGT. Niobrara Lusk Elementary Middle School, that one also with MGT. Just moving into providing a little more information to them for them to work on their analysis. So that'll kick in here fairly quick. Wheatland Bus Garage, we also reviewed that Mercer with MGT yesterday. Again, asked for a few minor tweaks, and I anticipate we'll have that one out to the district here within the month and potentially be before you with that Mercer in December or January, depending on how things move with approvals. Kicking down to Goshen 1, might just carry Laramie 2, Pine Bluffs at the same time. We have just processed a task order to continue the work on those two with Plan 1. So while they've been not very active, I anticipate they'll kick in pretty quick, getting ready to start the coordination meetings on those two particular projects. Kick to the next page, page 21. Niobrara Lance Creek. That one, the property has ended up selling twice actually since we started that most cost-effective remedy. New owners really don't particularly want the modular there, so we are actually shifting that over to a land due diligence study to look at some other potential locations for the district to move that modular to. So that one getting pretty active at this point as well. The Niobrara County High School Bow Ag Shop and Bus Maintenance Facility. Work on that one's primarily finished. I just anticipate receiving a draft report here in the very near future on how we want to move forward with that one. So I think you'll see that one fairly quick as well. Fremont 25, Frontier Academy. Of course, this was initially combined with the Rendezvous Elementary School for Fremont 25. We pulled that apart when it looked like the federal government was not going to fund the Job Corps there in Riverton, and they were looking at a partnership with CWC. They have since funded that for this year, so we're going to move forward with that Mercer study and working with Stasis right now on getting that project moving forward. A lot of the preliminary work is already completed on that particular Mercer study. Wheatland Junior High School, this one we're working on a task order with Stasis to get that one started. I anticipate a kickoff meeting fairly soon to take a look at that old junior high school in Wheatland. And the bottom one there is Converse number 1. This is a brand new Mercer that hasn't been on the list before. It's one that we're moving in based on condition for the Douglas Intermediate Elementary School. This is a 2-3 elementary school. So just gathering the data and looking to move that Mercer forward. I will give that one and engage FEA to perform that Mercer study. So I anticipate to be kicking off on that one fairly quick. So that gives you a rundown on the Mercers that are still active and that we're working on, and I take any questions.
Any question for Shelby? Any questions? Any questions? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is action items. We need to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the State Construction Department's recommendation to approve the minutes from September 25th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Discussion? I need a second, excuse me. I need a second.
Second.
Bruce seconded. Discussion? Discussion? Discussion. Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 If there are any opposed, same sign. So moved. The next item is Administrator Anderson, funding transfer transactions and financial reports.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to do something just a little bit unusual. Usually start with the account balances, but before we get to those, I wanted to talk to you about something else that you'll see reflected throughout the financials in various places. So if you're done, start with that. We periodically go through our projects and determine amounts to be reverted. Those our appropriations are different than most agencies. We get appropriated money until the project is completed, and once we feel like we're not going to use any of that more money, we go ahead and revert it. So periodically we go through, and Shelby and her team work with the districts to identify projects and make sure that everything is taken care of, because once we send that money back, we can't ever get it, we can't ever touch it again. So we've gone through and done that in October. So there was a reversion total of $25,993,338.45 that went back. So that's a very large reversion amount, which is good that we did it when we did, because that helped the governor and the legislature know that we reverted those funds. Those funds can then be reappropriated for something else. So that's one of the reasons why we try and get that done, so that those funds can go back out. So that said, I'll go through the account balances and I'll point out a few places we go through the financials where the reversions took effect, and you'll see changes in the financials due to that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could elaborate a little bit more on Laura's presentation on the reversions. With that, those reversions will go back into the school foundation program. So they won't go out into some area where the legislature would, use them to, fund some other program, some other agency. They come back and they stay within the program. So that helps, I think, the discussion moving forward with Joint Appropriations Committee and the legislature this session on funding availability, how many funds that are out there for the program. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if any of the commissioners actually watched the last Joint Appropriations Committee meeting, but there at the front end of that, the first 2 hours, there was a pretty lengthy and in-depth discussion on the Craig report. And within that, it looks like from the funding for the school side, we're in fairly good shape for the forecasting that was done. They indicated there was a couple of different items that came forward where under their last review, they had forecasted X amount of dollars. And in fact, we're sitting with right now, their forecast is about $70 million more in the program than they thought was going to be there. Then there's a couple of other smaller pots to add to that. And of course, this $26 million reversion adds into that also. And they talked a little bit about that. So if, Mr. Chairman, any of the commissioners are interested in watching that discussion, they start off on the front end. So within the first, I don't know, 5 to 15 minutes is where they're really talking about the school foundation program and some of those funds and what that looks like. And then at the very end, they'll get into a discussion with what they call the goldenrod. You'll hear in the legislative session, they'll talk about the goldenrod often. That's what is kind of a running tally of money that's available through different funding mechanisms and pots of money that's out there. And so they're often updating that goldenrod during the session as they're working bills to kind of keep a tally on where they're at. But at the end of that Craig report, they talked about the goldenrod, and again, there's about a 5-minute discussion in there about school funding, and again, it was pretty positive discussion as far as funds available. So you can go out on the website and pull that up at a previous JAC meeting. If you go to the legislative website, you can pull up the JAC and go in and review that. If anybody's interested, that discussion on the Craig. So any questions there from commission on kind of the budget right now? Like I say, right now, I think things are looking fairly positive for the school foundation program. So.
Hearing no questions, Mr. Chairman, with your pleasure, I'll go ahead and get into the financials as we usually do.
Thank you. Yep.
We'll first start off with the balances. So on page 27 of your packet, you'll see the balances for the various accounts that the commission has purview over, including the 17-18 unanticipated account, which is just over, it's just under $1.2 million. The 23-24 unanticipated account is at just over 1.7 million. 25-26 comes in at 21.8 million. And the land opportunity fund has been steady at $605,232. The emergency fund sits at $3,552,092. And the planning fund is $3,500,345. The next portion where we take care of the inflation fund, this is the first spot where you'll see something for the reversions. That we originally had an appropriation of just over 20 million. We did a reversion for the Douglas High School HVAC of $2,269. So I've included that in there along with the budget funds that we had of $6,939,673, bringing a new uncommitted balance in the inflation fund at $13,396,013. Are there any questions on those balances, Mr. Chairman?
Any questions? Any questions? No, none.
All right, moving along then to page 29. As always, we start off with the executive summary, which includes the operations, the major maintenance, and the capital construction. I'll draw your attention to column B, and you'll see at the bottom that it is now sitting at the reversions and transfers are sitting at 123 million. Last month in September, they were sitting at 97 million. That's where you'll see that $25 million difference, or close to $26 million difference in the first spot. Moving along to page 30, this breaks out each of those sections. So you'll see the operations appropriation summary. Drawing your attention to column D, you'll see that our monthly operational amount was $642,079. This is extensively higher, almost double what we normally do. The reason being that we had to pay our cost allocation bill. Cost allocation is an expense that is paid by any fund that's not the general fund. So one of the best examples I can think of is the Attorney General's office. All the attorneys are paid through the general fund. Then what they'll do is they keep track of the time that the attorneys spend, and then they go through and they allocate that out to all of the agencies that are not using general fund on a basis to be reimbursed by those funding mechanisms for what you use. And the Attorney General is just one example. There's things that the state auditor's office, the treasurer's office, there's a plethora of them out there. That's just one of the best examples that I can think of that makes sense. So we pay that cost allocation bill once a year. We pay it in arrears, so we're only paying for exactly what we used the previous year. So that's what that expenditure difference is. Are there any questions on that one? Because that's a little different than what we normally do.
So it's a reimbursement back
Yes, generally, we're basically reimbursing the general fund back for what we use, and our portion of that was attributed to the school foundation program account.
Thank you.
Moving along to page 31, this is the major maintenance appropriation summary report. I'll draw your attention to column D, and you'll see that 25-26 line has gone up to 150 million. This reflects the second quarterly payment for fiscal year 26 in there, as well as the 25 payments. So moving along to page 32, this is the capital construction appropriation summary report. And again, I always monitor column F. That's the balance not expended, because we want to see those dollars going out. And the difference between September and October was about $30 million. So we're making strides and getting stuff out the door. John and Shelby and their team is working very hard at that. Moving along to page 33. This is where I tell you that you look in column B and you look at the awarded versus the budgeted, and it's just kind of a net to zero where we move stuff from budgeted up to awarded. You'll see a very big disparity there, because that is also where in the budgeted where we removed all of the funds that were reverted. So you'll see that reversion come into play here as well. And the details of those are on pages 37 through 42. If you want to look at, there's a listing, the reversions are in there, as well as all the details for that report. Moving along to pages 34 through 36, those are all the details of the unanticipated report we went through at the beginning. And 37 through 42, as I said, are the transfers, the in and out for the awarded and budgeted. And then that brings us to pages 43 through 57, as we always end, Mr. Chairman, with a listing of the appropriations by district and facility. Are there any questions that I can answer for the commission on your financials?
Any questions, commissioners? Any questions, commissioners? Any questioners?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the commission approve the financial reports as presented.
Okay, thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Discussion. Sensing a debate, you're wanting to vote on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
If any are opposed, please same sign. Seeing none, the motion is approved. The next item we have on the agenda is any public comments? Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Do any of the commissioners or any of the staff have anything they'd like to add today?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
Briefly, just to echo your earlier comments about, the staff and the department's professionalism, performance, and the stewardship of the public's funds. I mean, there's unlimited wants and needs within the districts to do everything in somebody else's dime, and for you guys to be able to work through that, revert, I mean, $25 million, that's a big chunk. And then just from the Bob Uecker seats, a couple of times I've been to the select committee and to watch and stuff, it's your guys' credibility is outstanding. It's like watching Ia talk. Everybody else listens. So congratulations to all of you guys. My comment.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize John and his efforts. I really appreciated the construction update, the information that's associated with those construction projects, and being able to kind of look through those and see the current status of those. The pictures always help as well. So thank you.
They do. A picture's worth 1,000 words, really. So anyway, I'd just like to make a request. If Dave or Sean from Campbell are heading out to Little Powder sometime, I wouldn't mind going over, and I have never been there. I'd like to see it. And I would be willing to drive over to Gillette and jump in a car with them and go see it. And I also can take, I broke my cuckoo clock, so I can drop it off there and get it fixed at the same time. So
That would be great, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, if you're going out there sometime, Sean, I'd sure appreciate it.
Hey,
Go out there about every day, so you just let me know what works for you.
Okay, I will. Thank you. I haven't seen it, and maybe I should wait till it's a little closer to being done, but what do you think?
I would call it done at this point. They're currently installing fixed furniture and custodial supplies, so I think anytime I can call it complete enough to walk through.
Okay, good. I'll call the clock guy there and then I'll get back with you, okay?
Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the order? Anything else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just one quick note. We've had an outreach from Utah, state of Utah, and their construction divisions and their legislature to visit the SCD and talk about our programs, and in particular the school program that the state of Wyoming has on construction and funding and that sort of stuff. They're contemplating some legislative action to get more involved in school capital construction. And so they were actually supposed to come out December 3rd. They had a conflict, so they canceled that. So it looks like they're probably going to come out in January and visit with the department for a day, bring quite a few personnel from state government, as well as some legislators and some LSO staff to come out and visit. So we've had some conversations with them already. Be a pretty interesting discussion, I think, when they're out here. We are working with Laramie One because they wanted to visit a couple of schools and stuff here. And so we're working with Andy and his staff to try and get that coordinated. So anyway, we'll kind of keep you updated on what's happening there too.
Great, thank you. Anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
It's been moved to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. So moved. Everybody, thank you very much. Have a great day.